Now at 9, a historic Southeast Kansas business is officially back open. We'll hear from the new owners. Plus, students in McDonald County, Missouri meet the best-selling author of the book they've been reading. And how a new program in Joplin could help people filing their taxes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities in Cedar County, Missouri say the human remains discovered in a brush pile last week are that of a Joplin woman. The Cedar County Sheriff says the remains were identified as 27-year-old Shania Haynes. The body was found last week in a brush pile. A full autopsy will be used to determine the cause of death. 3 men are now arrested and charged in this case. Bradley Keith of El Dorado Springs, Brandon Choate of Lamar, and Jimmy Cole of Stockton are all charged with tampering with physical evidence and abandonment of a corpse. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a gloomy day for us today. We had a lot of clouds, we had some drizzle, we had some fog, we had some rain showers during the morning hours, but temperatures well above freezing, most of us into the 40s, and that's where we're going to stay as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So we're pretty much at our overnight low, upper 30s to lower 40s across the region. Now, we still have the clouds. We're going to get a little bit of fog building back in later on tonight. So if you get some patchy, thick fog, very similar to what we have seen over the past couple nights, don't be surprised. But the rain is out of here, at least for now, until our next storm system. It's sitting out across parts of Arizona and New Mexico, and that's going to bring rain back in for us late tomorrow into the weekend. Tonight, cloudy fog, temperatures upper 30s to near 40 degrees. Of course, we're going to look at our next storm system, all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. And we have a scheduling update for our programming on Friday. Due to golf, there will not be KOAM News on air at 5 or 6 p.m. on Friday. However, we will bring you a look at the latest headlines and forecast on our free KOAM Plus app and on the KOAM website starting at 6 o'clock. And then at 6:30, you can watch the Oklahoma City Thunder take on the New Orleans Pelicans right here on KOAM. And then you can join us after the game here on Fox 14 at 9 and then on KOAM News at 10 p.m. Kansas Highway Patrol is investigating a wreck involving a Columbus school bus and a pickup truck in Cherokee County. It happened near the intersection of Highway 400 and Highway 7. According to a spokesperson for the school, the bus did have students on board. Authorities say there were some injuries reported, but none are life-threatening. City of Joplin today held a public meeting to discuss a project to widen West 20th Street. It was a chance for residents in that area to give their input on the project. Now they would like to see it designed. Officials say the project is needed for the community.
Will this cause delays? Will there be street closures? And we see this project as being tremendously similar to 32nd Street as far as closures will be concerned. Whenever we get to the point where we bid the project out and have a contractor, we will set a schedule. We will look at phasing. We will look at the times that it will be closed.
The project is paid for by a sales tax approved by voters in 2014. Groundbreaking on the project is scheduled for early 2025. Well, after almost 90 years since it was constructed, the Gay Parida in Corona, Kansas is back in business. KOAM's Anthony Saviello takes us inside.
In 1934, Pete Ferrero, along with his son-in-law, erected this 2-story building. Within weeks, every night was a party at the Gay Parida.
I'd heard stories, either about weddings or, someone's grandparents met there, parents met there, and, about the rough times, the fights, all the big bands that had been there, and I'd heard all these stories, and, no one around here at my age or younger had seen it.
John Parsons, who now owns the Parida, wanted to bring that same life back to this historic building.
I just wanted to take people back in time so they could see what it was like, in the heyday, and what the bands that were here.
Spread all over the walls are pictures and articles showing the history of not only the Parida, but the surrounding community as well.
Tried to do everything exactly. We dug and dug and dug on the paint, and we finally got down layers of paint and found this blue. And everyone thought that was the original color.
Not just the paint, but the original floors and seating all still remain within the Parita.
So many people calling asking, hey, we want to see the building, so we got with Amy and we opened it up.
Amy Cassell, who owns the Skinny Hen, now partners with the Parsons, who plan to open the Parita back up to the public in the future. Just like in the days when it first opened, the gay Parita will now be filled with people dancing to music and filling their bellies with amazing food, all while reestablishing community and culture. Reporting in Corona, Kansas, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Parita will be open to the public tomorrow. Those interested will be able to purchase food and listen to a live band. Some kids in McDonald County today got to speak with a published author. It's part of Anderson Elementary School's One Book, One School reading program. This year, students read Mindful Mr. Sloth by best-selling author Katie Hudson. Today, they got to meet Hudson virtually from her home in London.
A book that you read as a child stays with you. So this year we picked Mindful Mr. Sloth specifically with the idea of sharing the lesson from the book, which is to slow down and be more mindful.
Students were able to submit questions for Hudson ahead of time that she answered. The city of Galena, Kansas is clarifying when its school crossing lights are supposed to run. Officials say they've received complaints about the lights running at odd hours. However, that's not a malfunction. Galena Mayor Ashley Qualls Grove says they are set automatically and will also run during and after school programs throughout the year.
But the school hosts after school programs that goes roughly till 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. They have a lot of kids that stay for that. So we bus and we transport, and then parents come and pick up. And the school, in conjunction with the city, came up with the idea to also incorporate that time, because we have kids that walk, or, you know, again, lots of kids that are transported various ways. So that time every evening, Monday through Friday, is still considered part of it.
The school crossing light in question is located on 7th Street. Well, coming up, touting the latest economic numbers.
President Biden making a stop in the battleground state of Wisconsin. He's making his case for Bidenomics after a new report showed positive growth for the economy. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I've got the details coming up.
Well, Freeman Health System President and CEO Paula Baker is retiring. Baker has served in the role for 13 years. Before that, she was the CEO of Freeman's Ozark Center and helped with the creation of the Bill and Virginia Leffen Center for Autism. Now, she won't officially retire until next year. In that time, Freeman will search for her replacement. Well, Freeman Health System today hosted a fitness fair for employees. 25 vendors stopped by Freeman Hospital West to help employees learn about health benefits and fitness services. Officials say it's important that they focus not only on the health and well-being of patients, but also the people that keep their facilities running. Well, thanks to awareness and some manufacturer safety measures put into place, fewer children appear to be ingesting those pods filled with laundry detergent. That's according to a recent study. But while there have been declines in exposures to the dangerous liquid inside those pods, the research shows it's still a significant problem in the U.S. Mandy Gaither has more on what the study's lead author says parents and caretakers should know to keep their loved ones safe.
It's not a new danger. For years, there have been warnings about the risk of exposure or ingestion of the liquid inside laundry detergent pods, and new research shows they still pose a problem.
What we found was that despite all of these public health and industry efforts, we're still seeing many people of all ages being exposed to these laundry detergent packets.
Dr. Christopher Gaw with Nationwide Children's is senior author of a study that researched detergent pod-related calls into U.S. poison control centers between January 2014 and December 2022. While researchers say there have been declines in the number, rate, and severity of exposures among children younger than 6, the most recent 3 years of the study found more than 36,000 calls related to these exposures.
Usually ends up in their mouths, and oftentimes if they bite down on it or it dissolves, that's how the detergent gets released.
Researchers also found increases in exposures among older children, noting dangerous social media challenges, and among older adults with cognitive impairments like Alzheimer's, who may have mistaken the pods for food. To keep those who are most vulnerable safe from accidental exposure or ingestion, KOAM says to store detergents out of reach of little hands and in their original containers.
I think also there's opportunity from an industry and policy perspective to really strengthen and shore up these product safety standards.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the entire Macaulay Catholic student body shows up to watch the Warriors hit the court.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another gloomy one for us today. A lot of clouds across the region. We did get a little bit of rain during the morning hours, not a ton, about 1/10 to about 2/10 of an inch of rain, but we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get. Really, we've been in a drought for the past couple of years, but so far in 2024, doing pretty good for the month. We're at 2 inches, so we're actually above normal by almost a ½ inch. Here's a nice shot of downtown, our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, looking at downtown toward the northeast. A very light breeze, but as that breeze kind of lightens up through the overnight hours, we're going to get some patchy fog building back in. Very similar to what we have seen over the past couple nights. Temperatures, not bad. We're above freezing, upper 30s, lower 40s, and this is where we're going to sit as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, all the rain we had earlier today, gone. Pretty good batch rolling right across Missouri out of here, but we still have the clouds. Now our next storm system is sitting out across parts of Arizona into New Mexico. This system will start to affect us late Friday night, and into Saturday with more rain. So let me walk you through the next 48 hours. By morning, about 38 to 40 degrees. We are going to have that patchy fog, so if you are going to be out early, make sure you're careful. I think that fog is going to burn off by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's go through the morning hours. We'll stop at noon, mid-40s, mostly cloudy skies, and once we get into the afternoon, look at the rain starting to increase across central Oklahoma. Now, all day Friday, we are going to be dry, but as we get into Friday evening, some showers are going to start to pop up. Now, majority of these showers are going to be along and south of Interstate 44. This storm system is really taking a far southern track across the southern plains, so we're kind of right on the northern edge. Scattered showers continue into Saturday morning. Now, if you live in our northern counties, Fredonia, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, you guys may not see any rain at all. It's mainly going to be the southern half of the four-state area. We could see a few snowflakes trying to mix in by Saturday morning, but most of this rain is going to push off toward the east, and then we just have cloudy skies the rest of the afternoon. But here's the good news. Even though temperatures are going to be cool on Saturday, we're going to start to clear out Saturday night, and that means sunshine, something we haven't seen much of, will return by the time we head into Sunday. All right, rainfall amounts with this next wave are going to be light. You can see mainly the southern half, 1/10, maybe upwards to about 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to really be it. Here's your day planner for you Friday, 40 at 9, 47 by 1, 47 by 5 p.m. A lot of clouds throughout the day, but I want to show you this because this is good news. Look at Sunday, upper 40s, sunny skies across the region. So next week is going to be a much better week. All right, for us tonight, partly cloudy, fog, 51 for us tomorrow, rain tomorrow night into Saturday morning, cooler for the weekend, but check this out, 60 Tuesday, 62 on Wednesday, 60 on Thursday.
You can't beat those temps in the 60s. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, it's Texas versus the Biden administration.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is not backing down from his fight with President Joe Biden to secure the border. Will Congress be able to pass new border policy to help? I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. This story coming up.
Pittsburgh hosted an event to connect local professionals. The Pittsburgh Area Young Professionals Kickoff was an opportunity for folks to network, make friends, and meet the organization's board members. The gathering also discussed the group's plans for the year.
It's a good outlet. I think there's a lot of professionals, whether young or older, that just kind of go to work from 8 to 5 and go home, and that's kind of it for their day. This is a good opportunity for you to kind of get out of your shell, meet new people, see what they do for a living, and maybe have same interests.
I wanted an outlet to volunteer through, but I was also excited to meet people around my age that are in the professional world and just get that network built.
Pittsburgh Area Young Professionals is open to people between the ages of 21 and 55. Currently, the organization has about 100 members. PAYP's next event is the Lunch and Learn next Tuesday to discuss the Special Olympics in Kansas. Well, a popular tax service is open again this year in Joplin. The Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, also known as VITA, provides free tax services for some taxpayers. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more.
People across the 4 states are getting ready for tax season, but getting help with your taxes can quickly add up.
I'm on a fixed income and got hurt on the job, and I don't have much to, pay out to do my taxes just to get, what little I got. Get back.
The VITA program offers free tax services to anyone making less than $65,000 a year.
So low to moderate income taxpayers. We service any age. We'll provide service for any age. And it's a totally free service, and we're very popular in this area.
The Joplin site at the Great Plains Federal Credit Union is open weekdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for Walk-ins needing help.
We are very lucky here at Joplin that most of our volunteers are retired CPAs or previously working tax preparers. So we have a wealth of tax knowledge here available at our site.
Russ Line-Miller has been using VITA to get help with his filings for more than 20 years.
My past CPAs was charging me, $100 and a quarter. $100.50 to do my taxes, and here I just get it done for nothing. I go to the grocery store and bring, snacks and stuff back to them.
And he says he recommends this program to others who may not know about it.
I love them. I really care a whole lot for them, doing my taxes.
In Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, more VITA locations are set to open across the 4 states in the coming weeks. You can learn more at our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Up next, how a developer plans to make Oklahoma City the site of the tallest building in the U.S. Well, plans for the country's tallest building are in the works. The boardwalk at Bricktown Tower is expected to be built in Oklahoma City. The structure is designed with 3 towers reaching more than 300 feet in the air, while the 4th is planned to take on the massive feat of becoming the nation's tallest building at 1,907 feet tall. The project is currently awaiting approval. Well, 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. President Biden touts the latest economic report as he hits the campaign trail. Plus, the state of Texas and the Biden administration battle over border security measures.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Biden administration is touting new numbers showing growth in the economy as the president tries to pick up momentum heading into the general election. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
America now has the strongest growth, the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world. It's because of you.
President Biden visited the key election state of Wisconsin, claiming credit for recent economic growth. A new report shows the U.S. GDP has grown by more than 3% compared to the 4th quarter of 2022. The administration says a strong labor market, consumer spending, and business investment all contributed.
The experts from the time I got elected were insisting that the recession was just around the corner. Every month there was going to be a recession. Well, we've got really strong growth.
Some Americans might not be feeling the boost yet. Overall prices are still up nearly 18% since January 2021. While Biden toured Wisconsin, Trump was off the trail and back in court today, testifying in the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial. Since New Hampshire, both Trump and his GOP rival Nikki Haley have focused their fire on each other. Former President Trump attacked Haley online, saying, quote, "Anybody that makes a contribution to bird brain from this moment forth will be permanently barred from the MAGA camp." Haley responded with her own post, writing, quote, "Well, in that case, donate here, let's go." Trump's post came after Haley claimed she raised $1 million from small donors since her speech in New Hampshire Tuesday night. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
China is accusing the U.S. its military operations are abusing international law. China's Defense Ministry spokesperson speaking at a monthly briefing today, saying that the U.S.'s warship and warplane activity is, quote, on China's doorstep. Now, China is calling the move, quote, dangerous and provocative behavior and is urging the U.S. to stop its interference. Texas is not backing down in its fight against the Biden administration over border security. The state is in a legal battle over its use of razor wire along the border, while lawmakers in Washington are still working on new immigration policy. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports.
And one of the strongest acts of defiance for a modern-day governor, Greg Abbott has declared the border crisis an invasion and invoked Texas's constitutional right to self-defense.
The authors of the Constitution knew there would be times when the federal government would not live up to its duty. Texas has a right, as a state, to stop criminals from coming into our state.
Losing trust in Biden's border agents, the Texas National Guard has taken over control of one area of the border popular for illegal crossings. There's also been debate about the use of razor wire to stop migrants, with the Supreme Court giving approval Monday for the Biden admin to start cutting the wire.
It's not making people's lives safer. It's actually making it harder for law enforcement at the border to do their job.
Despite the legal blow, Abbott says Texas will hold the line, while in Washington, lawmakers continue to hash out an immigration reform package.
We have the outlines of a deal. We've had it for several days. It's 90+% written.
But will passing it rely on approval from former President Donald Trump? As insiders suggest, some Republicans don't want to lose their top issue during election season.
I don't agree on that, and the reason I don't agree on that is, one, we have a constitutional responsibility to be able to protect the country and its safety. The things that are in this bill, Donald Trump would actually want to be able to have as president on this.
Right now, further emergency aid for Ukraine is contingent on new border policy being passed. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, a bit later, how some cities are using old buildings to help deal with a housing shortage.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another gloomy one for us today. A lot of clouds across the region. We did get a little bit of rain during the morning hours, not a ton, about 1/10 to about 2/10 of an inch of rain, but we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get. Really, we've been in a drought for the past couple of years, but so far in 2024, doing pretty good for the month. We're at 2 inches, so we're actually above normal by almost a half an inch. Here's a nice shot of downtown, our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, looking at downtown toward the northeast. A very light breeze, but as that breeze kind of lightens up through the overnight hours, we're going to get some patchy fog building back in. Very similar to what we have seen over the past couple nights. Temperatures, not bad. We're above freezing, upper 30s, lower 40s, and this is where we're going to sit as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, all the rain we had earlier today, gone. Pretty good batch, rolling right across Missouri out of here, but we still have the clouds. Now, our next storm system is sitting out across parts of Arizona into New Mexico. This system will start to affect us late Friday night, and into Saturday with more rain. So let me walk you through the next 48 hours. By morning, about 38 to 40 degrees. We are going to have that patchy fog, so if you are going to be out early, make sure you're careful. I think that fog is going to burn off by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's go through the morning hours. We'll stop at noon, mid-40s, mostly cloudy skies, and once we get into the afternoon, look at the rain starting to increase across central Oklahoma. Now, all day Friday, we are going to be dry, but as we get into Friday evening, some showers are going to start to pop up. Now, majority of these showers are going to be along and south of Interstate 44. This storm system is really taking a far southern track across the southern plain, so we're kind of right on the northern edge. Scattered showers continue into Saturday morning. Now, if you live in our northern counties, Fredonia, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, you guys may not see any rain at all. It's mainly going to be the southern half of the four-state area. We could see a few snowflakes trying to mix in by Saturday morning, but most of this rain is going to push off toward the east, and then we just have cloudy skies the rest of the afternoon. But here's the good news. Even though temperatures are going to be cool on Saturday, we're going to start to clear out Saturday night, and that means sunshine, something we haven't seen much of, will return by the time we head into Sunday. All right, rainfall amounts with this next wave are going to be light. You can see mainly the southern half, 1/10, maybe upwards to about 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to really be it. Here's your day planner for you Friday, 40 at 9, 47 by 1, 47 by 5 p.m. A lot of clouds throughout the day, but I want to show you this because this is good news. Look at Sunday, upper 40s, sunny skies across the region. So next week is going to be a much better week. All right, for us tonight, partly cloudy, fog, 51 for us tomorrow, rain tomorrow night into Saturday morning, cooler for the weekend, but check this out, 60 Tuesday, 62 on Wednesday, 60 on Thursday.
Well, a New York nonprofit charity organization is being showered in donations in honor of Buffalo Bills kicker Tyler Bass. The 10 Lives Clubs is a no-kill cat shelter in Erie County, which Bass is a strong supporter of. Following his miss of the potential game-tying field goal late in Sunday's divisional round playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Bass has gotten heat from many fans online. In response, thousands of other people have donated $22 each to the charity. Going to a good cause. Well, coming up in sports, Macaulay Catholic basketball plays in front of a big crowd this afternoon. Plus, Fort Scott and Frontenac meet on the wrestling mat. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Not very often as a high school athlete do you get the opportunity to play your sport in front of the entire school. This afternoon at Macaulay Catholic, those in the Warriors varsity basketball teams played in front of the student body from 3 different Joplin area Catholic schools. Macaulay Catholic at home today for an afternoon game against the New Covenant Warriors. Early in the game, Bradley Wagoner gets the turnaround easy bucket in the lane with the left hand. Later in the first, Alex Bohashik makes a nice cut in the lane, scores it off the glass. Macaulay on a big offensive run to start. Still in the first, Connor Taffner kicks out. Michael Paragon open in the corner for 3, and it's good. Macaulay opens the game on a 16-0 run. Second half now, Warriors up 23. Michael Paragon, nice spin move in the lane, finishes with the bucket. Next possession, Paragon gets fouled, and you can count the bucket. Then just after that, another fast break. Paragon again finishes with the layup. He had 19 for Macaulay Catholic. They dominate in front of the home crowd. The Warriors win at 51-29.
The guys have been talking about it for a month now. This is the first time that we've done something like this, and I think it's great for our school to see the kids that are coming up through our school system to be in this type of, to help with the atmosphere and be part of the atmosphere and eventually be playing in that type of atmosphere. I think it's just great all around.
Just after the boys' game, the Macaulay Catholic girls hit the floor, also taking on New Covenant. In the first quarter of this contest, Brooke Ryder gets the steal. She's going to go all the way to the other end for the layup. Basket good, plus the foul. Later in the first, Vanessa Diaz, quick catch and shoot off the inbound, knocks down the three. Lady Warriors up 12. Still in the first half now, the only senior on the team, Chloe Williamson, takes over this game. She gets the bucket to go here. Then, on the fast break, Williamson breaks out the spin move to get another 2 points. Williamson went on to have a career day. She scored, get this, 42 points for a game high. Second half now, Macaulay Catholic in full control. Isabella Gilligan hits the three. That put this one on ice. The Warriors go on to win this one 67-36. Meanwhile, tonight in Southeast Kansas, Frontenac and Fort Scott meet for a duel on the wrestling mat. Frontenac Wrestling hosting Fort Scott in the Cannonball Clash. We start at 120 pounds. Frontenac's Zane Aiken gets the win by fall over Gavin Griffiths after a 5-minute bout. Then at 126 pounds, Jamaro Perro doing all he can to stop Fort Scott's Gavin Miles, but not enough. He wins in the second period by fall. Up at 144 pounds, Ethan Jones for Frontenac gets the takedown and the pin on Landon McDaniel. Now to 165 pounds, Fort Scott's Brody Gomez wasted no time at all. Within 30 seconds, he wins by fall against Drew Long. Then at 175 pounds, Lennox Van with the takedown for Fort Scott. He'd go on to win by decision. And the Tigers win this duel, 42-36. They take down Frontenac and bring home the Cannonball Clash trophy. And we now welcome you into the first edition of Thunder Thursdays here on KOAM, highlighting the past week for OKC. It's been a very busy week since we took a visit to Paycom Center on Tuesday. The Thunder have moved into a tie in first place in the Western Conference. They've won 4 in a row, most recently a 26-point win over the Spurs and rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama. No surprise here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the team with a double-double, 32 points and 10 assists. He was also the leading scorer with 33 the night before in a 2-point win over Portland. Remember, the Trailblazers announced they're protesting that result of that game. The league office has 3 days left to make a ruling. And again, your first chance to watch the Thunder on our airwaves tomorrow evening. We begin with pregame coverage at 6:30. Then the Thunder take on the Pelicans in New Orleans at 7 on KOAM, trying to remain in first place. That's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
People all across the country are having a hard time finding somewhere to live, so cities are renovating old buildings for more housing. Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres is in Charlotte, where an old motel is getting new life as an apartment building.
The developer that bought this roadway in says there's a high demand for housing with not enough supply. Now developers and local governments are banding together to renovate old schools, offices, and motels for enough housing in growing cities. Finding a place to live in your favorite city is getting harder.
Because Boston has very little unbuilt land left, extremely little undeveloped parcels left.
Whether you're buying or renting, cities like Boston and Charlotte can't keep up. Mortgage company Fannie Mae says the country is short nearly 4 million housing units.
You're leveraging existing assets a lot of the time, especially in the case of the city assets.
Boston approved funding to build affordable housing on top of a city library. And through a city incentive program, a developer will renovate downtown offices into housing.
There's so many different buildings that aren't being utilized at their highest and best use.
Emily Hubbard co-founded Sage Investment Group, which will redevelop 2 Charlotte motels into single-unit homes.
Obviously, it's significantly cheaper. Not only is it cheaper, but it takes a third of the time. We can convert these hotels in 12 months. If we were to build them from scratch, it would take us 3 years.
Hubbard says there is a housing crisis, but developers and city planners are optimistic conversions could help the problem.
Conversions are unique to each city. So each city has to figure out what are the kinds of buildings that lend themselves to this conversion and understand what tools are available to each city.
Sage Investments say, according to police data, crime has been cut by 40 to 50% in places where they've renovated old motels into apartments. They plan to start renovations on this motel by the end of the spring. In Charlotte, Chelsea Torres, Fox News.
Well, coming up, we'll check out the newest additions to theaters, including the latest Godzilla movie. The latest in a monster franchise is on the big screen, while several new series start streaming. Here's a look at some of this week's new releases with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
A monstrous flick stomps into theaters with Toho International's black and white re-release Godzilla -1 minus color. Godzilla -1 is already a smash hit at the global box office, with its story set in post-war Japan of a new crisis emerging in the form of a giant monster. The film was also just nominated for an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
What is an adult?
Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman star in Miller's Girl, which is also on the big screen. The thriller is about a young writer whose teacher gives her an assignment for school, which entangles them in a complex web.
America loves a superstar.
Prime Video adds The Underdogs with Snoop Dogg, Tika Sumpter, and Mike Epps. The sports comedy follows a washed-up former football star who finds a possible new life path and renewed love of the game when he's sentenced to community service coaching a Pee Wee team in his hometown.
Let's get to work.
Netflix has the 6-part limited series Griselda with Sofia Vergara, starring as notorious Colombian drug queenpin Griselda Blanco.
Something big is brewing.
Apple TV Plus premieres the first 2 episodes of the 9-part series Masters of the Air, about the men of the American 100th Bomb Group. Stars include Austin Butler, Callum Turner, and Barry Keoghan.
We won't go without a fight.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of animals at the Milwaukee Zoo enjoying some snow. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.